Yo, what is up? It is your boy, IX Falls, and today I'm going to be answering some questions from a post that I put out on my YouTube post section on Instagram, because I want to do other content aside from just music releases. I say I want to, implying that I'm going to, but I probably won't pull through with it. But anyways, I have a list I picked out from here, and I'm now going to answer them. So, here we go. Tips for sound design. I'm just trying to expand my palette for music production. You know, I'm probably the worst person that you could ask for tips on in regards to sound design because I don't really understand the technicalities of it, nor do I know how to explain it to someone or teach someone. But if we're talking about in general, I think you just need to listen to music. You know, like listen to whatever genre it is that you were trying to produce or trying to make. Just listen to as much of that as you can and take inspiration from that. Like that sounds like more the obvious, right? But if we're talking about sound design in general, my sort of rule of thumb is too little can be good, too much can be good, but like try to find the fine line, because I find a lot of the time the reason I have 100 scrap songs from 2025 alone is because I just kept adding and adding and adding and adding. It's like, you know, treat it as layers almost of a cake or some shit, you know? You don't need like 20 different leads, you don't need 20 different plucks and all this shit, right? You just have the focus on the fundamentals first, and then once you have those in place, then if you want to add bits here and there that can emphasize the whole track together, rather than just having, you know, one synth come in and then the next layer come in on top of that, then the next layer on top of that, right? Just have whatever, but add little sparkles of it almost in throughout the song. Do you realize how ironic it is me saying this when I literally do this shit? See, I'm trying to get you I'm trying to get you to learn from my mistakes, right? Next one, collab with JIKURO. When? I think that's how you pronounce your name. I do know who you are. I do often get asked to collab with a lot. I'm actually working on 2 right now. Bro, I will collab with everyone. I couldn't give less of a fuck like how big or small you are. I don't really give a shit about statistics and stuff. I would just about collab with anyone. But obviously, if that were the case, then I'd have much more music out in my discography than I do. I think it just kind of needs to work both ways, where if someone sends me a demo and it clicks, then I work with it. And if it doesn't, then I have to be brutally honest. But sometimes I have something that I want to send to someone as well. To answer your question, JIKURO, I will definitely hopefully contact you this year, because I have listened to your stuff before and it is very, very sick. 5 go-to plugins. Okay, number 1, Spire. Bro, I've used Spire for like pretty much 90% of like Pixie Dust 3. I think 95% of the sounds were done with Spire. I feel like it's very attuned to like the electronic sort of side. It's very good. I wouldn't really count it so much as a plugin and more VST, but I'm gonna put it in anyways. From here onwards, I'll just talk about plugins exclusively. Number 2, FabFilter Q3. That's a no-brainer. It's just like parametric EQ or any typical equalizer but on drugs. Number 3, RC20 retro color. Bro, I've used that too many times. Any of the very sort of like retro, like kind of like digital-y sort of sounds, glitchy sounds, it's probably going to be RC20 retro. Number 4, Valhalla Shimmer. Also, I guess, really a no-brainer. Again, it's sort of like reverb, but more beautiful, much more like mellow and just like really wide, and takes a lot of the high ends and, you know, kind of reverberates those as well. It's just very beautiful. And number 5, I'm going to let you in on a bit of a secret with this one. This is something I've been gatekeeping recently, but I've been really enjoying. It's something called Tantra. Tantra is sort of like, kind of like multi-effects almost. So you get, you know, bits of your LFO and your side chaining, kind of like a bit of gross beat and half timing, like, but it's the presets and all this are like fucking insane. Don't get the second one. Don't get the newest version. It's terrible. Get the first one. Tantra V1 banger. Okay, next one. What got you into making music, and what did you start with in terms of genre? Kind of ironic you're the person asking me this when you know exactly what genre I started off with, but I will answer anyway. So I think what got me into making music was pretty much just the appeal of being able to make my own shit. Kind of the same reason I got into the sort of like design side of it and the photography and videography and stuff, because that's kind of my main line of work. But I loved being able to express emotions and feelings and stuff through the genre I originally started off with, which was unfortunately hip hop and rap. But I'd be lying if I said that I didn't contribute toward sort of how far I've gone in this whole music scene, because it has contributed a lot. It's helped me understand how to produce and how to, you know, experiment with different sounds and promote and all this and market and all this different types of shit. So pretty much started it because I just love creating shit. Simple as. What advice do you have for young creatives that feel stuck? You know what, I feel like I should be asking myself this question because sometimes I don't even know. Honest to God, I think it really is as simple as taking breaks. Honest to God. The one thing I find aside from taking breaks when, you know, taking breaks was just not enough is just not focusing on like one song at a time. Like focusing on one single until that one single is done. Changing it up, switching between making new songs. Even if you don't intend on releasing those songs, it just gives your mind a break from hearing the same thing over and over again, because then you end up starting to spot more flaws in that production and you just become a bit over, you know, attentive about it. So honestly, just keep switching between making different shit. Take breaks because you regret it later if you don't. Alright, next one. What's your favorite media that you've recently consumed? Bit of a random one, but thanks to a good friend of mine, Liz. It was something I watched called COLLAB, 1997 Japanese sort of psychological / crime investigation sort of film. Won't obviously say a whole lot about it, but there was just something about it which, you know, visually and aesthetically it was like super pleasing to watch, and also the plot and stuff was just fucking phenomenal. So COLLAB 1997, watch it. How do you create your visuals? It's impossible to not fall in love with them. Well, thank you very much. If we're talking about what software I use, I pretty much use anything, everything. Like, you know, mainly, you know, Adobe After Effects, Photoshop, even for visuals as well, for artwork and so on. A lot of time I will obviously collect stuff online. I like to use lots of stock footage and just transform the fuck out of it into something completely different. You know, again, rooting back into the fact that I just love creating shit and doing weird shit, you know? It's kind of just the way my brain works. It's kind of mental, I can't lie. But yeah, it would be as simple as that, honestly. That's sort of what I do. Okay, of the songs that you've made, are there any that you view as your own favorite or as some of your best work that you put out? Okay, I have 3 here, and for 3 separate reasons. One would be Without You Tonight. Obviously, me and Kitenchi and Florencia, we cooked on that shit, bro. Not even just on production, but also Florencia, obviously fucking incredible vocals. And I think just as a whole, the song really encapsulated sort of like, you know, narrative and the sort of story behind it as a whole, and it was just so like, it's beautiful. 2, this is personally my favorite produced song in terms of just how much effort I put into it. It's going to be Fading Away From Existence, which I feel like is gone way under the radar. It basically was my comeback song after Pixie Dust 3, and of course that's probably the reason why it was my best, because I basically stopped producing for like, you know, nearly a whole year. So it's just very complex, but it all like ties in really well together, and I just think it's, again, beautiful. And thirdly, I want to say Overcome Remorse, the last song of Pixie Dust 3. Even though it's not very complicated, I just think it was one of my best attempts and efforts at trying to push this sort of like gut-wrenching feeling to close off an album, you know, like the really loud, like overbearing sounds and like just sort of like soft mellow melodies and all this sort of stuff. For me, that was never a song I wanted to like pop off or anything like that. It was intended to be a closer. It was probably my favorite closer for anything I've ever done. Okay, any plans for funk and or horrorcore rap like you used to do, aka Troglodyte and Tau Sins? Probably not, I can't lie to you. I've kind of moved on from that. Like, I am still technically doing vocal stuff. I won't say for what specifically, but that genre in specific, like the funk and all that stuff, I've moved past it, man. I'm sorry. It's still popping off in places, like, you know, for other artists, but for me, personally, not anymore. What artists inspired you growing up and inspire you now? Love your music, by the way. Growing up, this is going to sound like a bit of a weird one. Elvis Presley, yes. Very unexpected. That was essentially my entire childhood growing up and my first encounter with music, and that's thanks to my mother. It has no contribution or no effect on what inspires the sound I make now, obviously. Inspiration now, again, no relevance to the stuff I actually make in terms of genre, but heavy inspiration for aesthetic and visual and like just sound design. It's gonna have to be Gene Dawson, Quadeca, Porter Robinson, Jane Remover, JPEG Mafia. I sound like the average online person, and I'm sorry. And do you know what? I'm gonna throw in Turquoise Death as well. My good friend Turk, his stuff actually still does inspire me, and I had the absolute honor of being part of his latest project, Guardian, which you should 100% check out. Do you plan to keep the name, or have you ever wanted to change your name to something else? Assuming you're referring to my artist name. You know, I've never wanted to change my artist name. I love it as it is, but I wish on my life I did all uppercase. I'm not like the regular casing I did. I'm so annoyed when at the time when I was making this artist name on DistroKid, there was like a hidden secret box that you had to check in order to like use all like lowercase or all uppercase, and I didn't know about that because without checking that box, every time you tried to capitalize your name, it would just automatically change it to just normal general capitalization. That's the one thing that I wish I did, just because I think it looks weird. It's sort of like my name is just going up and down. But yeah, the name itself, it has its roots, regardless of the fact that it's rooted in my rapping. I would still not change it because it's important to me. Do you plan on doing music forever? Damn, bro, make me think. Probably not, no. I mean, unless something significant happens, I mean, no one's going to be doing anything forever, really. But like, if we're talking realistically, given that I'm doing this and I'm doing, you know, like my photography and my videography and all that stuff, I feel like that's sort of the avenue that I want to focus on for the foreseeable future. But music is always sort of just being, I mean, I can't really call it a hobby because I've put in just as much effort into this as I have my design stuff. But again, I don't see myself doing it forever, but I will have fun whilst I'm doing it, and that's the important thing, I think. And finally, the last question: are you working on any albums at the moment? See you later.